Hi, I'm David, behind the camera.
And I'm Gail. Here we are at a standstill, not too far out of Omaha, Nebraska. It's, I guess, Wednesday morning at about 9:15, and we're still en route to Chicago. So you last saw us in Denver. We boarded the train about 2 hours late last night, and we're now off to the Windy City.
Yes, and so we've had a nice breakfast, pleasant company with people who boarded just in Lincoln, Nebraska, and are on their way to Florida by train. So we had lots of stories to exchange about train travel. It's their first time, and I guess now we can regard ourselves as somewhat seasoned hands at traveling on Amtrak. We've been around a bit.
That's an interesting phenomenon because all the people who we have dined with have been, with one exception, have been Americans, and many of those Americans are taking their first Amtrak adventure. So I'm wondering if train is becoming a little bit more interesting to people North American wide.
For sure. Oops, there we go. So that's an interesting change in lighting. We have a freight train going beside us right now. And that's probably one of the reasons why we're standing here on the siding. We've been here for quite a while, actually, and we're probably just like in the Canadian trains, the Via Rail Canadian train. We have to get out of the way when the freight is coming by. So it's same thing happens here in the United States as well.
The train that we are taking right now is the California Zephyr number 6. So although it's the same train by title, it is physically, the rolling stock is different from the train that we had started on in Emeryville due to that problem that caused us to stay in Denver for a day. In comparing the two trains, this one is a little bit older, a little bit rougher around the edges. What's different is that our roomette is on the main floor. It's not on the second floor. You know, these are superliners, which are double-decker trains. So it's a little bit different. We found it was a bumpier ride last night, more like a roller coaster, and it might too be that we were trying to make up time. We were going faster than we usually go, and we were on some flat terrain in the American Midwest.
Yeah, but definitely this was our bumpiest our bumpiest ride on the Amtrak system so far. We still managed to get some good shut eye last night in the bed. I was on the upper bunk as usual, and Gail was on the lower bunk. But I think we probably got a little bit less to and fro motion because of the bumpiness of the ride, because we're on the lower level instead of the upper level.
Perhaps. I think there's less sway, but I can speak as the lower bunk person that I was feeling every rail. Yeah.
So when Gail says we're in the superliner on west, I think in the western part of the United States, all the trains are superliners, and on the east of that, the east side of the United States, they're called viewliners, different kinds of trains. And as far as the superliners, there's at least 2 variants of the trains, and I think the train we're on right now is one of the older versions of that. Let's call it the Superliner 1.
Yes.
For lack of a better word. In a sense, there's not too much difference between the Superliner 1 and the Superliner 2. We can see little differences in the suite. For example, instead of having a little closet right here, it is actually open, and we have the two. Instead of in closet, just a coat hanger, basically, and so they're just visible there. And we have a little pocket right there where we can store stuff. We don't have the fancy doodle blue light at nighttime. There's just 2 regular lights that you can switch on or off at night.
The latch of the door is different. It's a more complicated system, and unless this latch is closed, the door will have a tendency to buck open.
For sure. And the washrooms, which are just down the hall because we're on this lower level, are they're much more convenient because we're down here.
Yes,
and,
excellent. Yes.
But on this particular version of the Superliner, the washrooms are also quite a bit smaller. Although I find that it's even though they're smaller, it's more convenient because I could just put the toilet seat down, sit on the toilet seat, and then the sink is right beside me, so that I can do all my face cleaning, glass cleaning, cleaning of teeth, and what have you. Anyways, I think that's probably it. We're going to now just do some more trip planning. We're hoping to get into Chicago about, what time is it, Gail?
Well, now we've been delayed by at least an hour, so we're looking at maybe a little after 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the course of our talk, we've started to move again.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
that's a progress.
Okay, so here we are. We're in Chicago's Union Station. We finally arrived.
It's Wednesday, and we arrived at about 7:45 in the evening, about 5.5 hours late, even for today.
So we've run into the situation, usual situation, I guess, where there's, I think we heard broken switches, and there's freight traffic, other trains that we have to pull aside for, the usual kind of stuff. So we are a lot later. We were supposed to arrive at 2:50 this afternoon. Yeah. However, it's still as usual. It's always a fun walk or fun train ride, we. Even though we were pretty much going from Colorado, you're pretty much going down the slope, and it's pretty flat from there on. It's well, I guess for us it's like home, isn't it?
It's reminiscent of home.
Yeah.
There was a lot of flat, and there was a lot of big sky, which looked very pretty.
Yeah, it was.
Late January. It's a lovely sky.
And it was prettied up because there was the recent snowfall, which is the entire reason why we've had these fairly massive delays in getting to Chicago. So that snow is now laying quite prettily and puffily all over the ground and in the trees. So it really is quite attractive, and we'll hopefully be able to show you some shots of that environment.
Amtrak was very happy to tell us that we were the first train, the first Zephyr number 6 train from the San Francisco area to get all the way to Chicago in 5 days.
Right.
So
right.
that is an achievement, I think.
It is for sure. And so here we are. We're going to now head off to our lodgings. We're in the Loop area of downtown Chicago, so we're looking forward to that. And then we've got 4 days in Chicago.
We do.
And we'll be we'll be in touch, I guess, where they'll be showing you some of the things that we're doing here and some of the sites that we're seeing, and before our next big Amtrak adventure, and we'll let you know about that when the time comes.
Right, because my kind of town, Chicago is.
Yes.
See you soon.
We'll see you then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.